Yo, 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 what up, people? Today's exciting. I have one of my best friends with me, Isaac Dana, in the building. Big crypto mogul, big marketing mogul. Isaac, brother, I appreciate you coming on. What's going on? Tell the people who you are and all the good things about you.
Bro, I appreciate you inviting me on here. This is fantastic. Uh, so my name's Isaac Danna. Mike and I are born, well, in Massachusetts. We're both from Massachusetts, and now I'm living up here in Vermont, and done a bit of traveling. Used to live in New York for a while. Used to hustle a lot in New York.
That's New York for you, right?
What's that?
That's New York for you, right?
That's New York, bro. So I'm currently I'm 32, heavily into crypto right now. I own a marketing company on the side, or it was my main gig in 2021, but in 2022 it's a side gig. And that marketing company focuses on home improvement services. So basically, that company, if somebody's looking for your service, we will generate ads for that. So Mike and I met through an old company that he used to run, and that was what we were doing for him. And basically, that was cool. And then it switched over to crypto. And once I found crypto, actually, a funny thing, I got into crypto because a friend got me into some multi-level marketing thing, and he was basically like, he's like, bro, there's this cool thing. My uncle's in it. And this is a very, very trusted friend. He's like, this is a cool thing. My uncle's in it. And, he's earning Bitcoin every single day and he can take Bitcoin out. And
That
I
just
was like, all
sounds
right, cool, bro. Like I've heard Bitcoin, it's going up in value. Like, let me look into this. So I bought my first Bitcoin, not a whole Bitcoin. I bought my first fraction of a Bitcoin, which I didn't know you could do at the time. I thought you had to buy a whole Bitcoin. And at the time I was like, I don't have $9,000, 30 grand. You know what I mean?
I wish it was that, right?
Yeah.
I wish
So,
9K.
what's that?
I said I wish I got in at 9K.
Seriously, bro. Somebody has my Bitcoin that I bought at 9K. Let me just put it that way.
Dude, how about those stories? People having crazy Bitcoin wallets that maybe put like $500 into it back in what, like 2012 or something. Now this shit's worth like
It's ridiculous.
millions of dollars.
I'm listening to a book my buddy Perry Power sent me, and he's like, you got to listen to this, or you got to read this book called Bitcoin Billionaires, and it's about the Winklevoss twins after they kind of get screwed over with Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook and stuff, and it's fascinating how early they were on this, and it's like some hacker dude in the basement, just and then they end up linking up and meeting up, and then this not hacker, but he's like friends with hackers. This coder ends up being like, "Hey man, do you want the next project? Because you can't seem to get into tech anymore." And this whole thing, and he was talking about how I think he bought at the time Bitcoin was like $7 at the time of this conversation in the book, and I was like, "What? $7 Bitcoin?" Like, and obviously it was cheaper at some point. You know what I mean? That is just that's
It's
crazy to me.
bro. It really is so crazy.
Crazy.
Isaac actually got me into crypto as well, but we'll dive into that.
Not through a multi-level marketing thing though.
Right. So how I met Isaac was I had a junk removal business and Isaac had a marketing company. Somebody referred me to Isaac, was like, hey, he'll get you a bunch of leads. He'll get your thing going. I'm like, hell yeah, bro. Met him through a Zoom. This is like, I think it was right in the beginning of COVID when that happened.
Yeah.
And I met Isaac on a Zoom. Me and my partner did. I looked at my partner after it. I'm like, yo, this dude's going to change our life. He's a fucking genius. Like this dude is absolutely genius. So he started our marketing, was doing a lot of PPC ads on Google and some Facebook ads and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. Yep. Some Facebook, and then we got banned.
Here's my money. Go generate me leads. Like, I don't want to do it, right? And he was like, I got you, bro. So from there, my business sort of took off, the junk removal business. It was, as the digital marketing is very expensive, but what happened with the business just wasn't what we wanted to do, right? I was actually talking to Isaac the other day. He was like, yeah, while you had the junk removal business going, you would constantly talk to me about real estate. You would talk to me about real estate more than you would talk about your damn junk removal business. He's like, why the fuck are you doing junk removal? So now I'm into real estate. But anyways, as far as Isaac, bro, what got you into the marketing company? Because I think, if I'm not wrong, that was your first real business.
Yeah. So I was struggling for a while, bro. My first business was like, well, besides all the side hustle stuff, like flipping stuff on eBay
Yeah.
or whatever. But the first real business was I had a 9 to 5 at first, and I was working. I was making the most money I ever made. I was making like $50,000 a year in New York. I had that job, and then in the evenings I had more. So I was probably making like 60 grand a year, maybe 70 grand a year. And I was managing bars in Brooklyn. So I was working for a company, and I used to be a carpenter and a contractor, so finished carpenter. So I would help renovate these bars in Brooklyn, and I'm watching these guys that I work for, bro. They're buying these bars. I'm in there taking out, I'm going into the old kitchen that's abandoned, and there's like molasses and syrup all over the floor and hard and sticky,
Yeah.
and I got to like clean all this stuff up. And then we have to go in and repair the floors because there's holes in the floor and all this stuff. So I was the dude renovating houses for the millionaires that were buying these things. And I was like, I'm not this guy. I want to be with you on the other side buying this thing. And then I just kind of, I don't know, one day I just got really upset with it. And it was the best money I was making at the time. It was really cool. And at that time I had read like Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad, which is by far my favorite book. I recommend it to everybody. I read that, and at that time, with 50 grand a year, I was able to save like $12,000 in 6 months. And I said, "Oh my god, dude, this is insane! $12,000 in 6 months. Like, I feel like I can teach people this and whatever, right?" And then I said, "Okay, let me see what I can do with this $12,000." And then one of my buddies, his dad works for Hilton Hotel or something, and or Marriott or one of them, and he and I were into photography at the time. So I had a little business on the side outside of my full-time job, and I was shooting headshots for actors and all that kind of stuff. That's a whole nother story. But what I did was I had my camera. I started doing photography, and then I did a photo every day. So I had like 365 photos, and I was posting one a day on Instagram before Instagram was like even big at all. And then I would print that, and then that book. So I had a book with 365 of them, but then I took the best like 30 or 40 and put them into a little booklet. And then I found out that I could buy that little booklet for like $1. So then I was going to partner up with my buddy, and we were going to give it to his dad, and we were going to try to sell it to Marriott and get it in every one of the hotel rooms as like a gift for the guests as they come in, because he was that high up in the hotel. So I was like, dude, this is fire. And then me and my friend fell out, so that didn't happen. And I'm like, oh well, I'll just do it myself. And then I started thinking like, wait a minute, if I can buy a book for $1 and then I can just go around Times Square passing these things out and sell them for $5, I'm 5x in my money, and or making 4 times my money anyway, right? So I had like, I think I bought like I don't know. I had like 1,000 books, and there was like 4 cases of these things, bro. And they're still around. I haven't sold them. I think I probably sold like 30 books, and I was in Times Square just like, all right, this ain't the way to go either. So I just took an L on $1,000. But that was like my first business. And then that kind of led to, okay, well, marketing. If I could just market these books, maybe I can sell them online, right? And then I found all kinds of marketing material,
Okay, so you had all these books, and what was the problem? Was the actual book the problem, or was the marketing problem?
The problem was the book was fire, the photography was fire, but it looked like a brochure for my photography instead of what you should buy as the product. You know what I mean? So it looked like I was just handing out these little flyers like, come get my photography. So really, this would have been a great promo thing for $1, right? But I even hired like really pretty girls to go in Times Square and start trying to sell these things, and they still couldn't sell, bro.
That's amazing.
So it was like, it just wasn't happening, bro. We had them outside the Met. We had them everywhere, and I knew like I sold a couple, and I took photos with a couple of them, like me and my buddy Rich, who you've met. He helped me one day, and at the time I just had no idea how to approach people. Right? It was just I don't like going up to people and forcing a sale on them. But at the time, I also was like, ready. I quit my job to do this. So I didn't have a choice. I was like, I'm going to go up to these people and sell. And I did. I made a little bit of money, but like, just not even close to
So
that.
the content wasn't the problem.
No, it was the product market
wasn't the problem, but it was the sales that was the problem. It was the close.
It was the sales. It was a lot. It was the sales, the close, the product was wrong, right? Like it wasn't tested before I spent $1,000 on all the material, right? It was like, I would buy this. This is cool. I know who I can sell this to without doing any testing, right? And then going from there, and then just to find out it was just a huge, spending a week in Times Square interacting with every single person you can think of, getting moved by the cops and stuff, being like, you can't sell here. And then it was like, well, maybe I can like get enough money where I can rent a table and then just start selling on the side of the sidewalk and whatever. But even then I started thinking like, this is such a waste of my time. Like, even if I sold these, just the time involved is just a massive waste. And then that got me on to like, well, maybe I could sell them on Etsy. And then that just spiraled into maybe I should have my own website. And then when you have your own website, you need traffic. And if you don't know how to get traffic to your website, you just have a website in the middle of the internet that nobody knows about, which is probably worse than Times Square. You know what I mean? So then that led to marketing. And then I fell in love with different marketing tactics. I drove all the way out to Boise, Idaho with my girlfriend and ended up staying out west. I ended up moving to Oregon for like a year and a half. And when I first got out there, I knew I wanted to be in marketing and consulting just because I knew there was a lot of money there, and having no money at all was like awful. So I said, I jumped the timeline, just, got crazy there. But basically I ended up out in Oregon, and then I just went through Google and I started calling, every consulting and marketing agency in Oregon, in Portland, Oregon, that I could think of while I was like staying in a hotel, trying to find a place to live or wondering if I should head back east, and then one dude picked up, and his name's David Bear. Great guy. He ended up picking up and being like, hey, what's going on? And I said, hey, my name's Isaac. I'm looking for a job. I just moved out here, just making some shit up. Like, I just moved out here. I'm just looking to network with people. I don't know if I'm looking for a job, but I'm looking to network and see if I can, at least get some tips on how to start a marketing agency, or maybe even help you. Like, I've got experience, whatever. He's like, well, why don't we get coffee tomorrow? And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. So then this dude takes me out to coffee. I'm broke, but I'm acting like I got money, and this dude takes me out to coffee. He's like, and halfway through coffee, he's like, you don't know what's going on, huh? And I said, well,
like, damn it.
I was like, man, he's like, I don't feel like you have a plan at all. And I said, what do you mean? I have a plan. Like, I'm starting out, I'm writing a book on the side here, teaching like everything. He's like, well, what are you teaching? You haven't made any money. So
no shit.
Yeah. And then that kind of shook me. And then he said, hey, if you really need some money, I have a software where you can white label the software. Okay. All you got to do is record your screen and go to Google Maps and find some pest control people or something and be like, oh, I can see you don't have reviews. Reviews are really good for your business and this whole thing. So then he gave me all the sales material that he didn't want to use himself that came with the white label software. And then I was like, wait a minute. But he didn't tell me the name of the software. So I started thinking, like, if I could just find the software, then I can make a bigger cut and I could eliminate this dude that just brought me into this, because I'm doing all the legwork. He's doing nothing, literally nothing. And I was like, all right, I want to be in your shoes. And I told him that. I was like, listen, bro, I don't want to do this for you. I'd rather do this for myself if I'm doing all the work. And he respected that and said, okay, well, you can go over here and use this software then if you want to do that. And I said, okay, fine. So he was like that kind of nice guy. You know what I mean? He's like, you can make money for me, or you could just go do it all yourself and then just thank me later when you make some money, and that's what I ended up doing. So the marketing agency started with review management. And then people were paying like, $90 a month, which is cool. But when you have 5 clients, it's still only $500. And like, a lot of time, very, very time consuming to manage everybody's reviews, negative, positive, all this kind of stuff for $500 a month. I mean, it was good money when I had nothing, but
right.
What's that?
You're getting your reps.
You're
understanding how to have a business and
and then that led into
sales, everything.
What's that?
I said everything. Sales, you're talking to customers.
Yeah.
You're closing people. You're managing people at that point, right?
Yeah. Well, I had to. Well, at that point, I didn't really have to manage. It was all my own time for the reviews. But when I had to start managing is when I said, I want to start charging higher ticket sales stuff. I want to do higher ticket sales, for all the time invested. If it's the same amount of time, if I'm spending an hour on the phone to close somebody for $90, or I'm spending an hour on the phone to close them for $2,500 a month, I was like, I might as well learn the other method,
Yeah, right.
And then that's when the marketing agency started.
You learn from the reviews to go then talk to these roofers and all those people, right? Is that,
yeah? And what's that?
Your next step was the roofers and everything?
Yeah, my next step was the roofer. One of my really, really good friends, he started a roofing company down in Florida, and he was like, well, we're going to generate leads. And he was about to, actually, he already was generating leads with some really shitty marketing company that was not transparent. They like gave him 2 websites, made several business locations, and just messed up everything, like split all the traffic. And I said, hey, listen, cause you're my best friend, bro. Like this is awful. You've got to fire them. But he did not take me seriously. And I said, dude, I've been studying this. I'm telling you, trust me on this. Like, I'll do it for free at first or whatever. Like, and then he ended up hiring me for the review management stuff. And then I had to go all the way down to Florida to close him and his dad on why marketing. So I ended up spending a little bit of money to get down to Florida from Oregon. Just to close them. And then it wasn't just that flight. We ended up having to go to Panama to deal with a hurricane that hit. And then by the end of all this stuff, I was down there for a week, and I closed it. And that was my first client. And I knew I had something really good there when you could pay $3,500 a month for one person that you're interacting with, and then that was just like, all right, well, now I'm just going to start charging my friends to manage their ads because those are the closest people to me. Right. And then you work your way out from there, trying to find random people. And then you can hire, I started trying to hire family to like DM people and try to get all that out and whatever. But really, most of my business came from referrals, just purely based on how many people were spamming the inboxes of business owners that I wanted to be, talking to. And yeah. And then
go ahead. I think one thing that's important for you that I noticed right away is you lead with value, right? So that's probably where a lot of your referrals came from, because I would refer you to anybody,
right? And most people would. So I'm not saying that like, oh, you're the shit, but like really, that's where most of my business came from. It was almost all of it was just, yo, so and so recommended you, So I didn't spend any money on ads. We're actually about to start spending money on ads for the first time ever in 2022. And the best part is I'm not even the one performing the service, right? Yeah. I've got my system in place where the team performs it way better than I ever could. Even if I was in this person's account 24/7, because I've got 7 people that can look at the account, you know what I mean? Or 8 people that can look at the account. So really a big problem was me being in the business and not working on the business, which is just kind of a cliche thing. But really, when I just stopped caring about my business, that's when it started making the most money ever, And you and I have talked about this a little bit before as well.
It's the who, not how.
Yeah,
who can do something for me, not how do I do it.
Right.
How do I talk to all these clients? I got to make them all happy.
Right.
No, who do I have to talk to all these clients that can make them happy, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that's been big for me too. Just recently, probably the past few months, I've been honing in on that a lot, because especially with my junk removal business, I wanted to do everything. I'm like, I want to talk to the customers. I want to go there and talk to them and throw the shit in the truck. I feel like nobody else can do it better than I can. I had to get out of that mindset in order to start excelling.
And if you can put the who in place, if that who can do it better than you,
and they'll do it better than me,
bro.
My mindset before, like early on when I had my first business, was, oh, nobody can do it better than me.
Right. I'm the best.
Everybody can do it better than you. Exactly. You're trying to do 50 things at once.
Right.
So you went from there. You ended up doing pretty well with your marketing business. You had these servicing companies like junk removal businesses, roofing companies.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
Actually,
right?
you entered me into the junk removal space, and then after
other dumpster clients, right?
Yeah, well, after dealing with you, we did junk removal with you, but then dumpster, you didn't have any dumpsters. You just had the trucks, right? So then you and I were talking about, oh, if somebody had dumpsters, and then my roofer friend, him and his dad, they ended up starting another business, so they didn't have to pay the dumpster rental companies, because taking all the shingles off the roof and putting them in the dumpsters, they might as well just use their own dumpster. So they went out and bought a dumpsters, and then started their own dumpster rental company. But then when they're not doing roofs, they still want to be able to have some stuff. So what we started doing is running ads for them, because we were already on the books for them. So they were just like, yo, can you do dumpster rental? Like, we've been with you for several years. Would you be interested in dumpster? And then I had you as a case study. So I was like, yeah, we just got leads over here. And they're like, oh, cool. And then now the dumpster rentals, honestly, the dumpster rental niche for me right now is way easier to sell, way more profitable. And the case study is so massive. The amount of leads we can get a dumpster rental company based on, or versus the amount of leads we can get roofers, like the competition for dumpster rentals is not even close to the amount of competition in the roofing niche. So it looks really good for our marketing company. So it was a really easy sell. Well, I mean, well, not dumpster rentals, but how easy it was. The phone was blowing up for junk removal stuff.
It was crazy.
Yeah,
it was bananas.
And then roofers, it's just,
how do we manage all this?
Right.
And what actually me and you ended up almost going into a dumpster business together because of that, right?
Right. Exactly.
And then we ran the numbers. We're like, especially this is when Isaac was really going crazy with the crypto. We're like, yeah, fuck that.
just the amount of money.
Honestly, bro, I'm so glad we came to that decision.
Yeah,
it came to just me and you just being transparent. Like, yeah, dude, this ain't gonna work out.
Yeah.
And it's completely fine. We're just like, yeah, no worries.
Just because it's a good idea doesn't mean it has to be my thing. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly, right.
I can just stay in my lane, and it can still be a great idea for somebody else. We could just run ads for that business if we wanted to. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you pretty much scaled your marketing business at that point. Once you had these dumpster rental businesses, you had your roofers, and then all of a sudden you got into crypto, and you started to get away from your digital marketing when it came to service companies like those junk removal businesses, roofing companies, and then you got into crypto. What happened? What made you? Well, you already told us what made you get into crypto, but what happens? This is probably within the last year, right? The last year was pretty crazy for you in crypto.
Yeah, last year was pretty crazy.
So you kind of, I wouldn't say you moved away from the digital marketing, correct? Or are you still doing a lot of it?
Well, this has been the challenge. So I've spent years making the digital marketing company to create passive income on the side, right? And to actually help business owners that don't know how to run ads, right? If a business can waste so much money, like even if we're charging $5,000 a month to just manage plus ad spend, like you could be spending 15, 20 grand with us a month, depending on your industry, right? You could be spending 15, 20 grand a month with us, and you're still going to be saving money by hiring us and letting us manage it. Because if you don't know how to manage your ads and you're hiring a company that doesn't know either, right? They just say they're a digital marketing company. You're going to waste so much money. And I've had, actually, I've got a lot of clients that come back to me, that I might charge a higher rate or something. And they're like, oh, well, I could just do it myself. And I'd write you off the books, or I'd get you out of the expense column in the business. Right. And then they come back because what ends up happening is they can't do it. The phone stopped ringing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then it's like, well, I know, because I have 7 people in the accounts and you're just one business owner that shouldn't even be in the account ever. And then that's been a huge thing. And people just come and go. And then the people that really stay understand, okay, Isaac and his business, just, I don't have to talk to him. He just runs it. Right. Everything's automated. We charge the card. And leads come your way. Like that. That's
so those are the clients that you want.
Those are the clients, right? And
it's almost like when I was a barber, right?
There
was knucklehead. It was when I was a barber, right?
Yep.
There was knucklehead clients that you just didn't want,
right?
To the point where I couldn't wait until they didn't show up for an appointment because it gave me a reason to fire them.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, so I implemented this when I had my barber business. I'm like, once you do a no-show for an appointment, and especially the ones that were knuckleheads that I'm saying, you couldn't get a cut with me anymore, Because at that point, I started getting busy. I'm like, dude, I don't got time for that shit.
Right.
And then you start raising your prices and all that type of shit. But the good customers that you have, they understand your value. They understand your time. They understand, like, hey, I don't have to bother Isaac all the time. He's going to take care of his shit.
And
which is dope.
You know what? I'm sure you could probably relate to this as well. When I started charging more, like when I was charging $90 a month for each client and they're getting review management, dude, they were calling me and texting me 24/7, just being like, freaking out for $90 a month. The people that are spending $3,500, $5,000 a month, like they don't even call. You know, they don't even call. They're just, they understand.
It's a different mindset.
Different mindset, man.
Yeah.
So once I started having those people as clients, I was like, okay, we could do this. But then crypto happened. And my buddy got me into crypto, or he got me into Bitcoin, not really realizing it was just like, hey, you can earn more Bitcoin, whatever. The dude that ran the company that was trading Bitcoin, quote unquote, took off with the wallet. Huge lesson here. If you're new to crypto, 12-word seed phrase. If you don't have it, if your Bitcoin is in somebody else's wallet and you don't own the 12-word seed phrase for that, it's not your Bitcoin. So right. Number one lesson right there for any cryptocurrency. I don't care what it is, Bitcoin, whatever, Ethereum. So
that goes back to what I was saying earlier. What I meant to mention is there's people that maybe spent $500 on Bitcoin way back in the day, and they have no idea that 12-word seed phrase.
Oh my God. And lost
their keys, bro.
Sick. Can you imagine, bro?
That is so terrible.
That's crazy.
But going back to what you just said too, Isaac was telling me about a token, which is a really good token. It did well for us. And I ended up, this has nothing to do with, not Isaac's fault at all, completely my fault. I was rushing. I wasn't really looking at stuff. In the Telegram group, of a random Telegram group that I got added to, said, hey, this is the token. They faked the same copy of that token, and I sent money to the wrong people, and now you just don't have any money. So doing your due diligence is freaking important.
That's another thing. So to stay onto that, like before we even get into crypto, let's talk security and safety for crypto, right? As soon as you get into crypto, as soon as you get into Telegram and Discord, change all your privacy settings. It is not like Facebook. It's not like Google. It's not like your phone. People will DM you 24/7 with spam and links that will try to connect to your wallet and all this kind of stuff. And they can literally siphon money right out of your wallet if you're clicking the wrong links. And you might actually, dude, there is an unbelievable, like more scams in crypto than there is with the US dollar. Because you can make so much money in crypto. It's worth more for the person to invest more time. I'm talking, they'll create websites, they'll create commercials, they will run and spend YouTube ads. Okay. They'll spend money on YouTube ads to generate fake interest. They'll screenshot, they'll pay people to leave fake testimonials on stuff. Like, you've got to be really, really careful. And Mike found out the hard way. A couple people I know, I got somebody into crypto, and I think we started roughly with like $1,000 or something. He turned that $1,000 into like 15 grand or 20 grand. I'm sorry. And he lost 15 of it because he hooked his wallet up to a website that looked legit. And he was in a Telegram group asking for support, like help or whatever. And then he got a DM from quote unquote support. And it just looked like the token icon with, it was like, oh, it matches, the brand and everything. And it just said support.
Yeah, same kind of thing that happened with me. It just really looked very similar. I was moving quick, had a bunch of shit going on that day. And I was just like, yeah, I want to get in the pre-sale. And then all of a sudden I'm like, wait, I don't think that was right. And my shit was gone. Then we look at that guy's wallet. He did that with like freaking almost $500,000. I was like, holy shit.
Instant.
But let's talk about the good shit about crypto, bro.
Let's
talk about where you went in the space. Once you started realizing like, holy shit, crypto is the way.
So once I learned more about Bitcoin, and it wasn't my 12-word seed phrase, I realized that guy that was doing the trading, he had the 12-word seed phrase. And as soon as I realized that, I swear to God, it was the same day I went to the website to withdraw my Bitcoin and it froze. The transaction froze. And I said, no, no. I was like, just yesterday, my boy's uncle took money out. Like he was sharing the screenshot with us being like, yo. So it literally happened in seconds. I think everybody started catching on at the same time, and everybody tried to make withdrawals at the same time. And then everything froze, and the guy just shut down everything, took off, went to Brazil. So for me at the time, I was trying to go, I was trying to get a house. and $8,000. I thought I could buy a house with $8,000 the traditional way, which was just ridiculous anyway. But I was like, okay, I'll get a house. And I had to tell my girlfriend, I said, babe, I just lost like all of our savings in this one thing. And she was like, well, how would you have ever known that? And I was like, you're right. How would I ever known that? Right. Like,
yo, I love that.
So
how would you have known?
How would I have known? Like this was my best friend, his uncle, my best friend's entire family was in here. I got another boy of mine in there, and I feel bad for him as well. Like we both lost Bitcoin in this thing. Two of my boys are in there.
Dude, hold on. So that's how I operate. Like my whole entire life, that's legit how I operate. I'm like, well, if I don't do it, I'll never know.
Right, exactly. And I'm the same way. Dangerous though. It could be dangerous,
but
but now what ended up happening was the best thing that ever happened was me getting that Bitcoin stolen, because then I went down the security route. I learned more about how to be more secure, how to trust people and how to not trust people. Like who can you trust, who can't you trust, or at least how to read people better just through messaging, right? Not through just this communication. When the face isn't there and you can't look at the eye contact and all this kind of stuff, you have to really figure out how to manage people or how to like communicate through DM. So that really helped me in the crypto space. And that also, now I have a chip on my shoulder. Now I'm trying to get this fucker back for stealing my Bitcoin. And I have to remake that money by the deadline that I told my girlfriend I was going to do it at to get the house. Right. And I was like, we were 6 months away from trying to get this place. And at the time we were living with her mom and stuff. And I was like, we got to go, during COVID, like we're there, just all three of us. I'm like, we got to get out of here. So there was no option except for trying to figure out how to do this. And then I just watched crypto videos every single day for months, all day long, to the point where the marketing business, like I had my business partner hit me up being like, bro, you good? I was like, yeah, man.
I got bags under his eyes. He's like, yeah, I'm good.
So he's like, are you all right? And I was like, dude, I'm good. And he's like, I just haven't heard from you for a while. And I was like, well, that's just because I'm learning. Like, I was like, have you got the clients? You're managing the clients properly? He's like, yeah, I'm good. I said, okay, fine. I'll just keep going down this route. And then, watching YouTube videos and stuff, just the education, it really, I saw financial freedom because, and it didn't take much convincing. Like I was entered into this YouTube world, but it didn't take much convincing because I was watching my Bitcoin grow by, even if this guy wasn't trading it, the price of Bitcoin was going up. So I was correct. And that solidified in me, like I was either wrong or I was right. I usually think very black and white, unfortunately. Excuse me. I was either wrong or very right with buying the Bitcoin to begin with. And it was risky at like 9,000. And then it went up to 20,000 when I had it. And I was like, oh my God, I just doubled my money. Like this is, in what world can you double your money that fast in like a couple months? This is crazy. And that's just with Bitcoin. And then I started watching YouTube videos of people sharing other tokens. And then I just started putting a little portfolio together. Because I had the passive income on the side, this is very, very important as well. Because I had the passive income on the side from my marketing company at that time, I think it was like doing 10K a month or something. So my expenses might've been like 3,000. So I had 1,000 or 2,000 to play with risk management, that I could just drop into whatever I wanted. So I just started putting that money, a couple $100 here, $50 here, into tokens in DeFi, which would be on like Ethereum or whatever. I don't want to get too nerdy here. It's not a crypto podcast, but basically I just started, I came up with a sheet. I watched a whole bunch of YouTube videos, came up with a sheet. I started writing down, these are the next 20 tokens I'm going to purchase. And then I started prioritizing with stars and whatever on them, which ones I think are going to do better than others based off of everything I've researched. And then I broke down my $1,000 or whatever.
So let's talk about how you got there, right? Let's talk about the way you found these tokens. From what I remember is you just going into places like Telegram and Twitter and all these social media platforms that had crypto influencers or just people that were doing things in the crypto space, and you would connect with them, but you would try to bring them value, right? You would lead with value, connect with them, and then they would put you onto a token. And if I'm remembering correctly, the token that really took you off happened from that. You brought You came to somebody, wanted to connect with them, brought them value, then they put you onto the token. Am I right?
Well, so initially it was just YouTube. So I was getting my YouTube news every day. I didn't know what was going on. So I was just kind of, you can go watch live streams of people just looking at the charts. And when you're new, you don't know what to look at. So you could go to coingecko.com, or you could go to coinmarketcap.com or coinbase.com, and you can see all these green and red things. And you're like, I don't know what any of these are doing. And then by watching the news every morning from an influencer that you like to listen to, they all they do is literally go to the website and they say, hey, today we're up and it's probably because of this, or today we're down because of this happened yesterday. And they can like pin news articles and stuff and kind of compare the price based on news articles. And I started thinking like, oh, wow. Okay. And then every so often they'd mention a new token, like, oh, by the way, on Twitter, I found this, you should. And I started realizing that every Twitter account has, every token has their own website, and on the website, everybody's got Telegram or Discord. And then I joined several of those Telegram and Discords. And then in there, people will message, people will like talk about other tokens, just being like, yo, did you guys buy this one? And then you just go research that and whatever. And that was like, that's what my days look like today as well. It hasn't stopped. It's just gotten, more intense, honestly. But like you were saying, what ended up happening was I got into one token, and they released on one blockchain, and then they released on a second blockchain. And there were people in the Telegram group freaking out, thinking that their investment just got halved in value. And they were so pissed off. They were thinking that it was a scam and this whole thing. And because I had done enough research up until that point, and I probably had made, I don't know, $3,000-$4,000 or something in crypto, which is all, by the way, no clients, no products, no services, none of that. Right. And I made 4,000 without even trying to have a sales call. And I hate sales.
And that's why your thoughts towards business, like traditional business right now, you're like, F that.
I'm out. Yeah. But
here's the thing.
Okay.
So it comes from what you've learned from business, right? Like,
right.
All the money that you've made in crypto right now, you most likely probably wouldn't have made it if you didn't have the fundamentals of, networking and all the things that you did before with your marketing business, or even going out in Times Square hustling. Like, you probably wouldn't.
Absolutely.
Without having all that experience. So like, what I like about what you're doing is just genuinely bringing value to people, like sliding in people's DMs or connecting with people, whatever the heck you're doing to reach out to the people in the crypto space, or even people that aren't in the crypto space that you're trying to get into the crypto space. You're reaching out to them, you're bringing them value, and then in return, it's coming back. And we had a discussion the other day of like, hey, this has been my best year so far financially, but it's also been aligned with how many people I've helped. I've helped the most people I've ever helped in my life this year. So it's what it seems like has been happening. Maybe sometimes when you're doing all this helping out of people and doing all that stuff, bringing people value, you don't see, hey, I'm not going out and making, $50 an hour doing this, showing this person that token, or sliding in an influencer's DMs that has a bunch of projects or something and try to bring in value. Like, hey, how can I help you? Yeah, it might not seem like I'm going to make money. However, that person ended up putting you onto a token that you 100x.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I didn't DM them at first, but then it started clicking that, so the way crypto is, you basically, if you're DMing people right off the bat, you're probably a scammer, right? Because we just talked about how people DM you all the time and drop links in your thing. So
right.
What ended up happening was it was in the chat, and then you can tag people in the public conversation, whether it's Discord or Telegram, you can tag them. And I was answering a question in there. And I bought really early on a token based off of my research and what I was learning on YouTube. And then somebody else DM'd me being like, yo, thank you so much for telling me about this token, because you like, all these people are going crazy in the chat, but I've already made money based off of whatever you answered. I wasn't even talking to him. I just answered somebody else, and I almost got kicked out of the Telegram group based on my education versus that other person. And I was just trying to help that person out, but they were taking offense to it, while the other guy actually used the advice, went and made money, and then DM'd me and said, yo, thank you. He's like, by the way, we got this token. And that's when it really started kicking off. Like, it was like, if you want to buy this token, and then it was once you're in a network, then that network grows. They add you to other very small Telegram groups, or Discords where there's like 5, 12, max 30 people, and then they're like, and then you provide value, and you don't care. You're not looking at the clock. You're all making money. So you don't care if
right. Everybody's
making money. So
happy.
the hourly wage doesn't exist,
Exactly.
So it's like, yo, here's a favor. I know I'm going to get it back. And then that ended up turning into, present day so I've doing all that all last year. And then present day that turned into, Isaac's, Isaac has a marketing company. Maybe he can make a website. So then I ended up making a website for a token that doesn't have a website. They can make the token, but they don't know how to do the website. And I was like, well, we got you. So we made the website. And then that got me into, all of a sudden now I have a marketing company in the crypto space.
I think that is the most impressive thing out of everything.
Yeah.
You pretty much took your marketing company that you had servicing people like junk removal businesses and roofing companies, and you took that and you brought it into the crypto space, brought value to people. And now they're like, dude, market my projects. Which, could you imagine doing marketing for a big crypto project rather than a roofing company?
I have
like, it's not even.
I've already got offers, man. I've already got some offers to participate in tokens that are already massive. They have crazy budgets that I could never even fathom making passively every month, because
holy crap,
it's a whole nother level, right? I'm not convincing anybody. People and we go back to what we were talking about earlier. It all has a history, right? So going back to what we talked about earlier, if you're making a lot of money, then when somebody asks you for a higher wage or something, it doesn't seem like a lot of money when you're making 1,000 times more than what they're asking in the price, right? But if you're, and this is a good thing for pricing your product, if the person that's buying your product can only afford 3 of your product and not 5,000, then you've got to think a little differently. You know what I mean? On how you're pricing it and stuff. So, anyways, that led to this, and now I'm getting offers with cryptocurrencies and stuff. And then that makes me want to hire developers in the space. And now we're just, and last year we did 3/4 of my income or just under 3/4 of my income came from crypto and not the marketing. So
wow,
that blew my mind. And then that was data that showed me where I should be heading anyway.
Right. Exactly. That's is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to reconnect with you once you start doing this marketing stuff with all these crypto projects.
Absolutely.
We'll have to see where you're at. Here's how I want to finish it. Let's talk about, I do this on every pod. Let's drop Isaac in a random city that he has no connections with, which you already said in the beginning of the podcast that you did. But let's drop Isaac with all the knowledge that he has now. This might be a little bit tough because instantly you won't have access to a computer to go run some crypto.
Right.
But maybe that's what you do. So let's think about it. So you go into a random city, you don't have any money, don't have any connections, and you got to go make it happen. What's your game plan?
Well, right off the bat, I would go and try to get a job. I would have to, right off the bat, I'd try to go get a job just to get some cash flow going. And then make sure that it might even be a part-time job so I can have, a bunch of hours, but I'd try to get a job where, obviously you want a job paying. I would like a job paying as much as I could for as little time as I could spend there. And I might even pick up like 2 or 3 part-time jobs, because that's really worked with me in the past. So I might pick up 2 or 3 part-time jobs, because then you're in several different networks quicker, right? You're not just at one place all day. So I'd pick up a couple part-time jobs and then have a different conversation in different places, see where that takes me, and then use that money. What I know today, I would use that money to get back into crypto. But let me backtrack. Actually, I would use that money to start offering something of value to somebody. So alongside my side hustle, I would start thinking of services that I could offer the people that I know, or even just offering services, like going into businesses, offering some sort of service that I have. If I'm Isaac today, I would be like, yo, I can help you with the marketing here or whatever, even maybe at the business that I'm working for, right? Maybe I'd try to find a part-time job at a business that needs help in an area that I'm already highly interested in, and they could put me on the books. So I'm getting a stable income, but also trying to make like maybe a commission on the back end or something of the sales or something like that, where you have flexibility to get more money at that one position. And then I would take a percentage of that and get it into crypto. I mean, 100%. Like as soon as I could get money into crypto, the fastest, but it can't be the money that I'd eat off of, because then I'd be very, very stressed out,
Right. And that stress would lead you to not operating as
poor decisions.
best you could. Yeah, exactly. Going into stupid projects, losing a bunch of money.
Exactly. And if you drop me in New York like today, I would just try to make friends with people as fast as I could, crash on couches, get that subway card, get into work as fast as I could.
You wouldn't go sell books?
No, I wouldn't go sell books. No. Actually, today I'd go take all my books and try to go back to
You want to go find the pretty girls to go sell books? Because that's probably what I would do at this point.
I would try to provide a service. I think I would try to figure out who I could help the quickest, and then go get paid from them. Go take money from other people ethically by helping them. You know what I mean?
Right. So at the end of the day, you're gonna go lead with value somewhere, and you know it's coming back.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love it, bro. I'm gonna leave it on that.
Awesome.
Dude, I appreciate you coming on.
I gotta do this again, bro. This is fun.
Hell yeah, bro. It's going to be a crazy 2022, man, especially in the crypto space.
It is. And I'm happy we're in this together. Exciting. We're going to have some virtual, you have the real world land. I have some virtual land this year. I think we're going to swap and maybe even that out.
Hell yeah. My mentor actually, Pace Morby, he does a podcast. I think it's once a month or something like that, but he has a buddy. Honestly, it's like our relationship. He has a buddy that's just like you, that's into crypto, and it's pretty cool. They have a podcast once a month where Pace is taking some of his money, right, and putting it this is what he makes from his fix and flip business. Half of it he'll take and put it back into real estate. Half of it he'll take and put into crypto, to whatever his homie tells him to put it into. And they're comparing the two, which is pretty freaking cool.
But, yeah, that's awesome.
So I assume that they're doing some things in the crypto space together, maybe even in real estate together. I have no idea, but I would like to start doing I'm already doing crypto stuff with you, but I would like to take you in on some real estate deals as well. So
absolutely,
we'll take the listeners as we bring you back on the podcast and stuff. We'll update them on what projects we're doing together and all that good stuff.
Yeah. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out.
How do we connect with you, man? What do we reach you at?
I'm hidden right now. I haven't really. I went too anonymous. So you can reach out to me at Bloxer Trading on Twitter, BLOXR Trading on Twitter. You can reach out to me. I got a bull as my profile photo right now.
I thought you were gonna say don't.
Yeah, exactly. Don't. I'm over here trying to make some money.
Oh, I love it, bro. I appreciate you coming on, brother.
All right, bro. I appreciate you inviting me. This has been fantastic.
Hell yeah. All right, boss.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.